we just wanted to find out about times and prices for lessons.
Well, so I'm gonna give you this.
Okay.
It doesn't have time, so it has all the prices,
Okay, sure.
all the details you need to know. We got some time. Can give you this time slot. You guys are cool with that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. 11 o'clock at 3. Sounds.
Okay, on Sundays.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of, because I can't make it every Sunday, and sometimes I'm away, working away, but I guess we just email you. Okay, cool. And is it the same for guitar lessons also?
It's
Or is
not.
that a separate school? Or
No, it's not a separate school, but it's separate days.
Okay.
So guitar lessons, the guitar teacher is here on Saturdays, and I want to say Wednesday. Yes, Wednesdays and Saturdays.
Is it Wednesday evening?
It's all after the afternoon. We're open till 8 o'clock.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Anything else for now?
On Sunday. I don't think Ben is here. I think so. I haven't talked to because the way we're doing it is that I'm booking all students on Sunday, so we have a so we have two today. I go back 1 hour on Sunday and 2 hours on Sunday. And we have 3 hours, 4 o'clock. And when it's booked out, we'll open another book. And then we'll go back and forth. Yeah, that's where you're from. I'm Portuguese.
I thought it sounded Spanish because with the accent. Where did it from?
Yeah, I'm poquito.
Yeah.
No problem.
There you go.
Thank you. Of course. Yeah. That's fine. No worries. Thank you very much. Take care.
Did you want to give me a page of drum fills that day after the lesson? Do you remember?
I don't did
You didn't give me?
I didn't?
Yeah. How's it going?
Very busy.
Cool.
Very busy. And so am I. Tired, man. A lot of work for one person. This is what we gotta do.
You seem slightly never tired. You're always energetic.
I'm always
That's
dying.
my thing.
I'm always dying.
There you go.
I'm always dying, man. It's so funny that you're saying that I'm always energetic. I'm always.
Well, I'm the only one today.
Well, no. Oh no, it's late.
Yeah.
I wasn't even aware of the time. I know. Oh yeah, it's already 12:06. I know that Stanley isn't coming because it's his birthday today. But Dave and Alex, they should be here. Well, let's begin. No problem. 1, 10, doesn't make a difference. We're here to work.
Do you need a pad?
What? Yeah. Today will be pets. Where the oh, they're all in different places.
my toms. Alright, so today we are working on swing and or swung actually and anti-swung. Okay, so first we're going to get used to going from straight feel, which is when of course you have all the notes at the same distance, to swung feel, which is when we swing the notes and we adopt so this is swung, and of course these are 16th note triplets. That's the best way to understand the swing feel. Okay, so here we have and here we have one and one and Okay, so that's gonna be the first step. So let's do this together. Actually, I'm gonna grab a practice pad as well. Just turn this on. See here with you guys. Look at that, you got a private lesson. Don't know what's up? Must be the sunshine. Usually, especially Dave. Dave is always here. Like Dave never missed maybe one in 2 years. So, anyway, it's on. So let's play one bar of each. So one bar of straight, one bar of 16th note triplets with the swing feel. Okay? So let me see. Yeah, okay. So 1, 2, 3, and the 4, and go. And the 2, and the 3, and the 4, and the 5. So that it's a sticking problem. It's confusing you. That's easier. Because you don't want to change the sticking.
Yeah.
Because if you change the sticking, it confuses you when you come back.
Yeah.
All we are doing is changing the distances between the notes, right? Okay? So let's try again. 1, 2, 4, Okay, those are a little bit stiff, the 16th note triplets. So here's what we're gonna do. Instead, we're gonna do this. Someone is at my front door. Everyone must be just chilling, enjoying the sunshine. No, Stanley is away because it's his birthday. But Dave, see, I was just saying to Eric that Dave missed like one session in 2 years. So I'm scared.
Life changing. Something more important than drums.
Maybe he died. That's all I can think of. Alright, so here's what we're doing. We are today's session is on going from straight feel to swung feel to anti-swung feel. whatever that is. And so we are just now getting used to the swung feel first. So we were just gonna we were doing from straight to swung, but just to make sure that the swung feel is nice and you know, I guess clean. Let's just do one bar of 16th note triplets. That's our grid for the swing, of course. When it comes to funk, hip hop, and whatnot. One bar of 16th note triplets, just playing all of them, and then one bar of swinging those 16th note triplets. So it's gonna be easy to, because all you gotta do now, we don't change the division, but rather just remove 2 notes, right? Let's do that to a click. How about this? Okay, these are 8th notes. What's wrong?
No, no,
You smile. I know those smiles usually mean questions.
no.
Yeah, he's practicing, suddenly goes like, I found something in my brain. Okay, next time we do the swung, we'll stay there. Just stay here now. Get used to this feel. Alright, cool. So now let's try again the 16th notes, straight 16s, and then swung 16s. Okay, so now we have a change in subdivision, so it's bound to be a little bit tricky to get them just right, especially when you transition, of course. But let's do it. 1, 2, 3, and a 4, and a swung. So now we're just adjusting the distances, right? So, same number of notes, same staking, which is of course what we want when changing, for example, a drum fill from straight to swung. You don't want to change the number of notes, just how you the anti-swung. So this is where we become hip hop. So the swung feel is more for funk and the more traditional style when it comes to North American music, but the anti-swung is what the hip hoppers, like guys like Dilla, did a lot of this, because he would literally just move the notes because he was a sampler. He was what's he called? Not a DJ, but what do you call them? Those people who just make music using computers. It's not a sampler. I'm making a word up. Not an MC. I don't think so. But wherever they are, he came up with this feel. Of course, you can already see just by looking at the notes that it's exactly the opposite of this rhythm. Hence why I call it the anti-swung. Yeah, so that's the one and. Okay, by the way, do you guys have you don't need to know this for a fact, but do you have any idea? Can you come up with an idea for how that came about? Like how the hell did that guy just suddenly think, let me change the 16th note triplets? I can tell you that wasn't how it happened. It wasn't that clever. The reverse. You just apply the reverse effect on the sound. You had ding 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 ding. Pretty basic, I know, but there you go. Alright, but that's those Dilla beats use a lot of this kind of like weird drunken drumming, right? And that is the foundation of drunken drumming, that kind of weird feel. That's just moving the 16th note triplets. It's countable. That's what a lot of people can't get the feel right because they try to guess it, which it's all over the place. It's countable. It's still a rhythm. Okay? And then of course there's stuff in between these two. Doesn't have to be so swingy. It can be kind of and again the stuff between these two, the anti-swung and straight. These things of course, and that's the beauty of rhythm, they can be interpreted differently depending on what you want to go for, but I say make sure that you have a very strong foundation when it comes to the I guess the more rigid ideas. Like that's your pattern, that's another pattern, that's a third pattern. Learn them, learn to count them, learn to play them to a click, learn to go back and forth between them before finding your sweet spot. Because that's where I see a lot of people just crashing, because they try to go for I heard Juliana doing this. And they don't even know how to count it. It's all over the place. It doesn't sound anything like what Mark Julian is doing, or Chris Dave. I love Chris Dave. He just plays those little and I'm like, that's not cool. Stop, please stop. So it comes from this. They understand this so well that of course then they find the gray area between them. But so today that's all we're gonna focus on. We're gonna do these using singles. Then we are going to, I guess, transform, depending on how much time we have, but 1-2 drum beats. From straight to swung and then to anti-swung. Alright, so first let's get the transition from straight to anti-swung. Alright? Yeah? So, no. Sorry, let's do straight 16th note triplets first and then anti-swung. So all of these, the eighth note never moves. This is very important. This is very, very important. Okay, the eighth note never moves. So, for me anyway, that immediately gave me a fundamental piece of information that I could, that on the drum set, oh, it's on a practice pad by moving my hand, but on the drum set I could, first of all, fix the drum set. Like I wonder, I see people walking, right, and they don't seem to have weird legs, and then I sit behind a drum set, it's being used by, and I'm like, why is your left foot tucked in and your right foot stretched? How is this comfortable?
You know, I've seen a lot of people, they have their legs like this on the drum. Like it seems as if they're stretching the kick, I don't know why.
Like what?
No, it's like I've seen like a lot of the drummers I see now.
Yeah.
Like they're like my stance is almost kind of like a perpendicular kind of thing, maybe a bit more or less than that. But like lots of them I see now, kind of like their legs are like that on the drum.
So the feet are straight.
Yeah, they're kind of going out more.
But
So-
that's exactly what you should do.
Is it?
You should go out. You don't sit like this.
No, you don't sit with them inwards, but like I keep them about perpendicular, maybe a bit out.
Oh no. Any physiotherapist would be like, oof, you're gonna have knees problems really
Really?
soon because this is a very strainy position for your
Really?
knees. This. Yeah, the feet should be like that.
I probably don't notice how I do.
What it bothered me there actually wasn't that. This is a bit of a tangent, but then it's fine. It wasn't the angle.
Yeah.
It was this.
Yeah, no, that's restrictive.
Because the heel is behind the knee, that causes so much tension on your hip when you're trying to play the hi-hat or whatever. And even if you're not, if you're just closing it, like the pressure that it applies, that it puts on the lower leg, or not the lower leg, but the back of your leg, it's really not healthy. Really not healthy. So the best position, I mean, and this is a rule of thumb, everyone is different, but the rule would be that you have your feet angled, you know, maybe like at 100 degree, 110 degree angle. So this being 90, right? So that definitely your heels in front of your knees. So not this, but that, right? If you look at my knees, the line there. So my heel slightly forward, and also in terms of chair height, your upper leg sloping downwards. So not flat, but that. This would be from my height, the chair height I would need to feel comfortable. And that changes like depending on how tall you are, right? And then leaving at least this amount of room between you and your snare. Because your legs are a lot longer than your arms, and you got sticks, those are extensions, so we don't need to be here. The snare right there between your legs, that's what a lot of dudes do. And then
That's
they're all,
probably my problem.
they're always hitting their legs,
Yeah,
and
no, I have that
they
problem.
or to avoid that, they raise the shoulder, they're never comfortable. Yes, we do adjust, but here's something that I've learned, and then now I know. This is the truth, and I'm not trying to be funny, but when I was 15, 16, 17, I could do whatever. Body was flexible, body was strong. 31. It hurts now if I'm doing something weird. Back starts to hurt. Really. And you know, and I'm a healthy 31, but it's different. And I had to become a lot more wary of how I sit. I had a very insightful conversation. I'm not going to share the whole conversation, but the point was I had a very insightful conversation with Klaus Hessler on ergonomics. And he was again, that guy just a vault of knowledge. I mean, there's nothing, he goes really deep. I'm like, how do you have time to know so much about so much? But he was like, oh yeah, man, I went to see people that like read my body, like they scanned his body, and then so they told him like your snare drum should be here, your tone should be there, the angle should be, like they broke it down like to take advantage, because he's maybe my height, so kind of short, but he's a lot bulky, right? and he's got shorter arms than I do, so his body shape is kind of like longer torso, shorter legs. Like I have longer legs and a shorter torso, so kind of different, and that changes everything immediately. Even though in total we are the same height, probably, I would say so. Maybe he's a bit shorter, but not much. I mean, I think I'm 5'9", 10, something like that. So yeah, it's probably the same. But and they told him like the chair height should be, and by they I mean like he went to see like a physiotherapist, so people who really understand how the body works and what happens when under stress and what's good physical stress, what's bad. That's why like all of us here go to the gym. One of the most important things when working out is form. If you screw up your form, you're really bound to injure yourself. You're carrying and lifting heavy weights. I mean, it's not meant to be done, whatever. Slouching and
It's good morning.
game over. I mean, you're going home with a freaking hernia on your back. You will, and that's how they happen. Like dislocated discs and stuff like that, because they slouch and they lift like this. Right, barely bend their knee. I'm actually bending my knees a bit too much already. I'm like muscle memory, right? But they kind of go down like this instead of this. Going down with their legs and do the deadlift, for example. But and it happens all the time. So it's not about like how much you work out that's going to give you benefits, or how heavy you lift. It's doing it properly. Because you can't grow, you can't go stronger or whatever if you're constantly just injuring yourself, like badly. Not just, scar tissue and then it grows, and all that recovery process that makes you stronger, that's cool. But if you're hurting your joints, you don't grow stronger. They grow weaker. That's what happens to your joints. I know it's silly, but that's what happens to your joints, and like the muscles. The muscles recover and grow stronger. The joints do not. So if you're putting a lot of strain on your joints when lifting, and coming back to the drums, if you're putting a lot of strain on your knees, on your ankles, for example, for having the feet, I guess like retracted, like kind of like tucked in, you're putting a lot of strain on your ankles when you do that, right? If you're sitting with your heel behind you, your ankles will really suffer to do this. And if you're relying more on a kind of stomping on the pedal kind of motion, your hips won't be relaxed either, because there's a lot of tension now. Like even if you just test this, you do this, you do this, you can tell without flexing, your muscle just flexes automatically. So if you do this or this, you can really feel like my quad reacted. I don't want that when I'm drumming, because that's going to remove movement. I'm ready for fight, not to drum. And that's something that Klaus was like, yeah, you should. And he was seeing me playing, and he was like, yeah, raise your chair a little bit. I did. He was like, how does it feel now? My foot was actually a lot more comfortable immediately. Those are little things that we assume like, this is how I sit. Until when? Right? Until the day that you go home and like I did, like for a year and a half, sciatica problems. Horrible sciatica problems. I could not walk. Now I go running every morning. Because I had to fix a lot of things, right? Like, and that's why I said, like, even though I consider myself to be a healthy 31, I started having issues. Because I was putting so much stress on the same joint, on the same group of muscles. Drumming is a repetitive, I guess, stress. What's the word? What I'm trying to say is that you're constantly inputting a lot of the same stress. Like when you go to the gym, you run for 10, 15 minutes, and you go lift, and you go left, and you do triceps, and you do that. So that's not like you're doing an hour, 2 hours of like this. That's what we do on this instrument, right? It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 hours of this crap. Your joints will be like, whoa, stop, dude, right? So if you don't do it right, yeah, there's obviously, there will be problems down the line. Like, speaking of which, I gotta fix this chair. think. Oh, shit. Give me one sec. Sorry. This is my new wife now, back and forth. Alright, so let's get off that tangent and back to what we're supposed to be doing. What was I going to say? That I need to fix this chair first of all. Speaking of bloody and whatnot. And so we did the. Oh, I was going to talk about the eighth notes. Just one final thought on how to set up, for example, a drum set. Like the best approach that worked for me, and I really understood now how the drum set should be set up for me, for my body, rather than like, yeah, that's fine, and sit down and play. No, I'm not even saying that you guys set it up to look good or whatever. That's not even what I'm saying. Just kind of, whatever. If it works, it's fine, right? Which so what I did was I set up the chair first. That's my first thing, the stool, and I would fix the height, whatever, and just make myself feel comfortable. Then bass drum and hi-hat, okay, which immediately. So now I'm kind of sorting out my feet, where my feet are gonna go. I find that sweet spot. Well, I don't feel weird tension points. Snare drum. Now all I'm worried about is that I can play rim shots without hitting my legs. I'm going to fix that height, so I'm not also bending my wrists funny to actually strike the drum, but it's not so low that I'm constantly doing this, right? None of that. And it's okay to have your arms in a straight angle. Like a lot of people just want to play with their arm pointing down. I don't know why, but this is okay. We don't have much time, but let's say 5 minutes, 3 minutes to sort out the anti-swung version of that. Think of where the notes will land on the grid. Take everything into account. Make sure you don't just try to guess it, because it's countable. Remember that. We're thinking 16-note triplets, and those offbeat 16th notes are now on the ands. Alright, go back to the formula to remind yourselves of how it works. The second one we had the shuffle feel, right? Dun, 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 dun. Now we have pa 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 in didi da da didi didi didi. Now when you're swinging the right hand, that never swings.
Really?
It's a straight eighth note. Jam, 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 jam. Now you can really think, DMZ, Dilla Beats, those fellas. But remember, this can move. It's always the same. Across all three fields, the eighth note doesn't move. So you have just only playing this now. I already gave you the sound reference, so. Take your time. Actually, I got some homework for you guys, so carry on. I'll be right back.
That's it.
Alright, challenge. You see all of those? All of those grooves to be played straight, swung, and anti-swung. Not really.
I know it's not there.
You're going for almost like an eighth note triplet view. Dun, dun, dun.
Wait, so all the notes stay under the notes that they're on, right? They're just played in an anti-song too.
Say again?
All the notes stay under the hi-hat, the ones that are under the hi-hat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
those
so-
remained untouched.
Okay.
It's only the 16 note offbeats because we're following this logic, right? You're changing the distances of these two. Here, they move towards the eighth note. Here, they move towards the quarter note. Right, that's the difference. But these are always the same. Okay, so again, just so you guys hear the difference. And do practice this to a click. Because it's so easy to start guessing like, oh, no, I think that's right. And the click is unforgiving. It will tell you, nope, you're moving. Okay, so this, I'll go slow. And that's why this exercise is important, right? So go. Alright, so let's play the left on the 16 note offbeats straight. Now shuffle, now swung. See the eighth note is moved. Now anti-swung. Alright, those are the three feels. Okay? Do the same thing by all means with the bass drum. Okay, go on. Yeah, that's it. Come on up here then. Play that here a little bit.
Makes sense now.
But that's it. Da, 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 da. So let's do straight first. Do it
Oh,
straight
straight.
first, yeah. One. That's right. Next one, anti-swung. Yeah, good. Now, interesting challenge. Let's see what happens. Anti-swung, swung.
Okay, that's alright.
And there we have. Okay, this is both because then they, of course, they combine them. It's not like the whole thing has one feel. That's the drunken drumming.
Yeah.
Eric, go on, give it a go. You were doing it right. I saw you tapping your foot. It's cool, right?
Yeah.
Fun. And it's a great way of improving timekeeping. Because it's gonna scratch your that. Do it straight first, though. Swung, not anti-swung, swung. No, that's anti-swung.
Wait. Yeah, the one can.
That's right, but then now you're playing it wrong. It was almost straight.
Ah.
Think, that's it, that's it. A bit more, a bit closer to the board. Think shuffle, shuffle. That's it. You gotta use this as your reference, right? So you use that as your reference, your internal click for straight, this for swung, and then you change that one for the anti-swung key. So now we are using this as our internal clock. Alright? Let's try this one again, please. And that's it. Yeah. Nice. Anti-swung. That one was too straight. Sneak. So this one, that feel of but it's a little bit late. Okay, so then you see how important it is to feel those patterns as you play them, as you play grooves, right? So, quick example. Let's see that the number one there on that sheet that I gave you. Right, so we have a very kind of basic pattern. You've played straight, okay? So number one there on the sheet. All right, the where it says general examples. So exercise number one is just. Pretty basic. Now we swing it. Now we do something. And now we swing it. Sorry. 2, for example, more offbeat. So yeah. Sneaky guy, right? But there you go. So that's your challenge, fellas. All those 8: straight, swung, and anti-swung. So we got, from now on, challenge yourselves to not just play the notes, but interpret those notes differently. So we have those 3 different feels to go with for now. Yeah, it's sneaky. These are cool, man. And then of course, never forget this. Play songs. Play songs. You will see wonderful things happening to the song. Because you can, the same song, the same track, like, that's the thing, like, drums are powerful that way. If I play a track in a straight feel, let's use a silly example. I'm just gonna find
We've probably like subconsciously played like this before, I think, maybe. Because you just kind of like find things that fit in, and then you kind of come across
that's normal.
Yeah.
So like the song tells you what feel to apply instead of you imposing a feel to the song. But usually the third one, people don't really go there, naturally, unless you're really into Chris Dave or something like that.
I think, you know how I told you about the Dave Arthur, the Madagascar thing where he goes.
Yes, he does a lot of it. Mhm.
Yeah. That's
But yeah, if you are into that kind of playing, yeah, you might go there if the opportunity arises.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't, we might swing it a little bit. If you are into like modern drumming, a lot of drummers swing it, especially since jazz came about. Everyone's swinging, which is good. It's a good thing.
Now
Or
they're
we
gonna
play.
anti-swing.
Huh?
Now they're gonna anti-swing.
But that's the direction. I mean, not everyone, but that's the direction music is going as well. Like that kind of the clash.
It's like going forwards and backwards
Yeah.
of the modern.
But that's part of finding
Yeah.
your spot, right? Like I dig the swing, but it's not really. I don't like jazz. What? Flip it, right? And they did that. They turned it around. They're like, yes, right? You know when you have that sensation of like, that was almost what I liked, and then suddenly like you tweak something. It's fresh. It's new. It's slightly different, but it's still. It comes from that place that you kind of felt some sort of attraction to. But it wasn't like, it's easy not to like jazz. Let's just put it simple. It's very easy. It's such a complex art form that it's quite easy to love it or hate it. It's really easy. Like it's a lot more difficult to have such extreme feelings regarding pop music. Because it's not so complex, it doesn't go so deep, so you don't really have to connect. When it comes to jazz, you either love it or you hate it. Cool. But what if you love it, but you don't want to play it? That was always my thing. Like, I like to listen to jazz, but I couldn't see myself in a jazz trio. Like, that was kind of I was like, I dig funk. Right, that I did play a lot live and stuff. Jazz, for school. Right, I did that for school and it was cool. But I couldn't imagine myself forming a trio or a jazz band, or couldn't see myself doing that. I was into funk, I was into exploring with electronic music. I played in a couple of bands that were kind of Depeche Mode kind of vibe, like Placebo, Portishead, stuff like that, right? So trip hop, you see where I was going, right?